Have your attention, please join me. Welcome to the Worcester Township Board of Supervisors, January 21 of 2026 business meeting. Please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm the chairman, Lee Betts. To my right is Christine Steer, vice chair. To my left, Rick DeLallo, member. On my other left, I have John Everett, who is our CKS engineer. Wendy McKenna from Brant Associates, our legal. Dan Domino, our township manager. Christian Jones, our assistant manager. Dan, do you have a announcement?
This video is being broadcast, recorded for future broadcast, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Informational items is our first thing. We have a presentation from Montgomery County Library. Uh, Somebody making a present, please.
Advance the slides. Do I just request? Okay, thank you. My name is Eileen Hallstrom. I'm the Director of Development for Montgomery County Norristown Public Library. Thank you for allowing us to spend a little time with you. Our Executive Director is on her way and will be here shortly. We can go to the next slide. Thank you. I'm going to share a little bit about our history and who we are and where we're going. We were founded actually in 1794 by 90 local families throughout Montgomery County. So we have a long history. Um, our first library was actually constructed in 1824 for $153, if you can imagine, as we are looking at construction projects tonight, I know. Um, in 1947, we launched our Montgomery County Bookmobile services from Abington Library. Um, I start there because that's really the beginning of modern library services throughout Montgomery County. In 1962, we were designated as the district center for all of Montgomery County. We are the third largest district center in the state of Pennsylvania after Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, so an important center for libraries in Pennsylvania. Some other services that um, started happening outside of Norristown following that, we launched a bookmobile for seniors in 1979, a bookmobile that goes to child care centers, Head Start programs, and pre-K counts programs throughout Montgomery County, launched in 1992. We adopted an automation system in 1994, just to remind ourselves when we started going digital. 2004, we launched our Books by Mail program. A lot of Montgomery County residents don't know that we offer a Books by Mail program for homebound residents throughout Montgomery County. Um, we joined Ask Here. Okay. It's called Ask a Librarian now, where you can get reference services 24/7. And in 2017, we upgraded ebooks, audiobooks, and online materials through Libby. Thank you. Um, Currently in Montgomery County, there are 34 unique library sites, 4 delivery vans. We run 3 bookmobiles and the Books by Mail program. And all of this is coordinated out of Montgomery County Norristown Public Library. Next, thank you. We're going to talk a little bit now about the project that we've got going on in Norristown. Does anybody know that we're going to be renovating the library in Norristown? Is anybody aware of that?
Excuse me.
Yes.
We need you to direct to the board, not to the audience,
Sorry.
if you don't mind.
No, no problem.
Thank you.
So we have moved out of our location at 1001 Powell in Norristown into a temporary facility at Logan Square, 1700 Markley Street in Norristown. And we will be there until the end of 2027 while our 80,000 square foot facility is completely renovated. We're looking at creating a safe and welcoming space we're looking at focusing on experiences for everyone in Montgomery County. We are looking at making connections, building lifelong learning programs, creating space for community partners, uh, boosting collaboration and outreach, and updating our technology. Next slide, please. This is what our old library looks like currently if you drive past. And if you go to the next slide, you'll see what it's going to look like. Um, we're thrilled to be building a 21st century library that's going to be accessible for all Montgomery County residents. A little background, because we are a partner with the county, the property and the building itself belong to the county. Hey, Karen, grab a chair. Uh,
Hi, I'm Karen D'Angelo, the library director.
Here,
Hello, boss.
grab the chair.
Grab a chair.
Um, so we
Nice fire department.
And sign your name.
um, so again, the county owns the land that the library is situated on, as well as the building. And the library is a separate 501c3 that owns all of the contents of the library, pays the staff, etc. So it's a very close partnership, this project. Next slide. This is one of the entrances that's actually being completely redeveloped. This entrance won't be there anymore and it'll be pushed out, adding more square footage for the library. Next. And you can see what that's going to look like on that side now. Do you want to talk a little bit?
All right.
This is your project.
This is so exciting for us.
Hey, Karen, we're going to need you to do me a favor, make sure you're getting into the mic so we get you on the recording as well.
All right, there we
Thank
go.
you.
Better? Okay. So this is really exciting. The building was built in 1974, and it was built at a time when people came to the library to get away from the world. So it was dark and it was dank, and if you've been in there in the past few years, it was depressing. And now people go to the library to connect with the world. So now it's light and open and airy, and you are seeing in and out, and libraries are windows on the world. So it's going to be so much different. And
Can you say next?
next. All right. So it's going to have large and small meeting rooms and community rooms. They're going to be accessible from outside the library, the large meeting rooms, so that people can come and use them when we're not open. And we're going to be sharing space with CareerLink, which is a really natural partnership. It's also going to have, right now, people don't come to if you work from home now, where do you meet with a client? Where do you go to do a job interview, either for someone you're hiring or for someone you're working for? We are going to have small meeting rooms, and we're going to have recording studios where people can go and do that, where speech therapists and occupational therapists who are no longer going into people's homes can meet and have space for those kinds of conversations. All right, let's see. Recording studios, makerspace. Do you guys know what a makerspace is? A makerspace is a place where people can come and learn how to use things like sewing machines and 3D printers, and how to mix music in the recording studios, and all things that are going to help them improve their skills, get ready for college, get ready for jobs. Let's see, I can't really read that from here, but there's going to be computer spaces and computer classrooms. There's going to be a teaching kitchen. If you don't know if you've been to the library down there lately, but there's no outdoor space. There's going to be a rooftop garden so that people can be out with nature and learn how to plant and grow things. There is going to be, so that's the rooftop garden, a teaching kitchen. So teenagers can come and learn how to make nutritious meals. So people can learn language around food. Think about cinnamon. If you are learning what cinnamon is, you smell it, you know immediately what it is in your country. You have now have it in your hand, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can taste it. it's a different way of learning that is so much more encompassing of everything. All right, next. All right. I'm actually going to read it from look at my sheet because I can actually read my sheet. All right. So, our mission, always an important thing. We are a gateway to lifelong learning. We provide access to resources that inform, educate, entertain, and enrich people's lives. It's the ease of libraries. Next. Libraries are for everyone. We have had some wonderful programs. We have early literacy programs in both English and Spanish. We have youth programs. We have cooking programs, classes. We have cookbook clubs and all sorts of. We've got 9 different book clubs now. Knew it was a lot. Um, the literacies, financial, health. This is the PA Forward programs that are the literacies. Let's see, all of the things that are important, and I want to just like cover them all with you. Um, we do fundraising. We do a lot of our. We have our outreach to municipalities like you, and thank you so much for that. Support us. We also receive state aid. Um, Not enough, but they did increase it this year. Thank them for us. Um, and are, of course, we fundraise. We ask people for help, especially with things like this new building. The opportunities to be part of that is very exciting for all of us. What did you want to touch on?
Nothing.
All right. Okay. Our resources. We have so many really cool resources, and we have a new one. It is the newspapers. What's the name of it? Press reader. It's a brand new one that's we just got using some of the increased funding from the state to um, newspapers from all over the country and magazines, and it's free through your library card. Also, through your library card are Libby audiobooks and ebooks. We've been increasing those, and you can also get access to those through the state resources now. Um, My Heritage is going to be a genealogy research product that can go into your homes. Right now, you have to go to the library to use Ancestry, because that's their role. Comic Plus, if you know anyone who's into comics, we have an entire database that's comics for people. And Career Link, of course, and Learning Express Libraries, Scholastic Teachables. We pride ourselves on birth through all of life. You can learn and explore.
You want me to talk about bookmobiles?
Oh, I love to talk about
Oh, you do.
bookmobiles. I talk about bookmobiles. We have a general purpose bookmobiles that goes to places that don't have a brick and mortar library. But we also have the Works on Wheels, which goes to, and it started in 1947. Yeah. Um, and that goes to senior centers all throughout the county, to senior housing developments, and brings the books on the bookmobile, and mostly audiobooks. They borrow a lot of audiobooks and large shape. But we also have the books go round. It is now a van, not a bookmobile, since COVID and not wanting to have people in small enclosed spaces like that quite as in large groups, especially 3-year-olds, journal factories. But that goes to Head Starts and Title I schools and the preschools as well, and brings story times and books to children. All right.
Should we go to Worcester?
All right, Worcester. All right, so we do have bookmobile stops here. Words on Wheels goes to Meadowwood twice a month. We have 11,810 of your residents who have library cards. No,
That's how many
The-
residents there are.
no, that's how many residents there are.
Details.
2,475 have library cards. So we serve all 11,810 of you, and you checked out 43,533 items last year. And Books by Mail is a really cool program that we have where we will send books to people's homes, and then they can send them back for free. And you have 2 whole people using that service.
Two.
2. But if you know people who are homebound who would love to have books delivered to them, please tell them about us. All right.
Dan, put that in the newsletter. We get some more activity. It's good to know.
All right, your turn.
You want me to do?
I want you to
okay,
do
I'll
the final,
finish.
finish it off for us.
All right. So when we think about our work, our collective work as a library and as a library district, we really like to focus on four things: fostering an educated and skilled workforce, and we'd like to partner with you to make that happen. We like to support and nurture a thriving local economy. If you have ideas for us, again, for how we can partner and support you in that, we would love to. We empower individuals who are engaged in the community. And we like to create a cohesive community with strong social connections and civic participation. Thank you for allowing us to share updates about our library and our library services. Again, we very much welcome partnership, collaboration. If there are ways that we can serve Worcester Township better, we would love to know that and we would love to work with you.
And we've been increasing our outreach, our ways to come out and meet with you. We have a couple of grants that wonderful person here has written for more vehicles that would allow us to bring different kinds of services to the community, and we would love to partner with you on what that might look like. Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
support.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
I can't hear what you said.
She's asking if she can ask a question before they depart.
I sure, why not? Fine, leave me alone.
The library is involved in that, and at the district center, we've been helping the other libraries get connections as well. Many of the libraries in Montgomery County are involved. Do you know where the DMV is? On Market Street.
Do you know where the old Sears was?
You can't do this anyway. You can't have this much fun anyway. This is like Andy Griffith, in my opinion.
Johnson and
Maybe Green Acres.
There's excellent parking is where the DMV is.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have a presentation, waiver of land development request, 2025-01, Alan A. Myers. Alan Myers, Inc.
Good evening. I'm Michael Gill. I'm an attorney with the law firm Hamburg Rubin and Joe Ristella from Howell Engineering here on behalf of Alan Myers. We are here. All right, we are here to discuss with the board our request for a waiver from the land development process, not the substance of the land development ordinance, but just a waiver from the process to facilitate the construction. At the Alan Myers property at 1805 Burks Road of what we're calling a legacy equipment museum. And that museum is the subject of a decision from the zoning hearing board from last year, allowing us to convert from one non-conforming use at this portion of the property to another. So that special exception and the variance relief that goes along with that has been in place. The zoning hearing board granted that. again, the purpose of our presentation here this evening is to follow up on our request for a waiver from the land development process, not substance again. So the proposal is to construct here what will be a private equipment museum, and this will be a facility that will house I don't want to call it antique, but older construction equipment, older vehicles. There will be access to the public, but that will be by invitation only. This will not be a typical museum where you would go and pay a price for a ticket and go into the museum. And it will be at the rear of the Allen Myers property, again, on Burke's Road. The township surely knows that sort of the front of that property is headquarters for Allen Myers Corporation. The rear of the property cannot be seen from Burke's Road. Driven down that road many times, you would have no idea that the rear of the property is there. And right now, nope, that's not good. Sorry. Right now, that portion of the property is being used for outdoor storage of equipment. And that equipment is regularly used for Myers projects. So that equipment is on a regular basis being moved on and off of the site. The proposal is to reduce the impervious cover at that portion of the property. So it's approximately a 1.15 acre reduction in impervious cover. Obviously, remove that outdoor storage component, build the museum here, and again, that will be a private facility that would be accessible by invitation. There could potentially be events there, so there is a meeting space built into the floor plans, but again, those would be controlled events, not calling that something that's open to the public. We do have some elevations or renderings to show what the facility will look like. So it has a very rural feel to it. Happy to answer any questions about that. We do have review letters from the township engineer and from the township traffic consultant, and we are prepared to respond to those. There will be some substantive waivers that we'll be seeking as part of that resubmission. The upshot here is that, again, we would like to proceed with the project through a consultant-to-consultant dialogue with Joe, talking to your engineer and to your traffic consultant. And then once they have resolved all of the comments and concerns that were raised in the review letters, and we don't think any of those are insurmountable, we would come back to you with a request for approval of the plans and then allow us to move forward with the project. That's the proposal in a nutshell. Joe is able to answer any technical or substantive questions that the board or anyone else may have.
So the property has a structure there, we're showing it, so that's proposed to be built.
This is what's proposed to be built. There is no structure.
The structure in there, it's rolled in.
Now it's just that open outdoor storage sort of trapezoidal area at the rear of the property.
How many acres total on this whole, give or take?
The site,
32 acres, and the building size?
1,000 square feet.
11,000.
and obviously you can see here, this is a large amount of impervious cover. And much less impervious cover at the end of the day.
So what you're saying is you're building on top of existing impervious coverage, it's already a parking lot or...
Right. And the argument we made to the zoning hearing board was that this is already being used for storage of construction equipment. At the end of the day, all we're really doing, one way of looking at it, is enclosing that in a building in a much smaller area.
Board member have questions? Or?
So I don't have any specific questions. I know that, though I think I need to digest on it. I mean, ultimately, we have to scan the request.
I'm sorry.
We need to digest on the request before making a specific decision on it, I guess is really where my thought is.
You have any questions?
I have none.
Okay, so So again, the request would be that the board formally recognize a waiver from the land development process. What that means is that we wouldn't go to the planning commission. The next time you see us would be when we have plans that are ready for you to sign, and let us move forward with recording them at that point in time.
How long have you been working on this project?
So the project's been underway. I can tell you this, I joined Cameron Rubin last November of '24, and the project was already substantially advanced at that point in time,
2 years, more or less?
more or less.
And
At least.
You-
And then we were at the zoning hearing board last January.
so any of this been through lane planning at all, or it's just, you just,
Yes, we submitted the plans and the request for a waiver from land development in July of 2025. So on July 1st, we submitted that request. In September, we received the reviews from township engineer and the traffic consultant. And we've been working ever since then to get some space on your agenda and move forward. And that's what brings us here tonight.
very good. Okay.
I should point out one final thing before we move on. This project will require an amendment of the existing conservation easement with the Natural Lands Trust. We're deep into conversations with the Natural Land Trust. We obviously think they'll be happy with the reduction in impervious cover, but that's another piece of the puzzle sitting out there.
And we got the waivers last January.
We received a special
variances?
exception and 2 variances. So the special exception was to go from one non-conforming use to another and to enlarge, I want to make sure I get this right. It was to enlarge the non-conforming use in this area, even though we're reducing the scope of the footprint, the way from a zoning perspective, it actually worked out to be an enlargement of the non-conforming use. So there was a special exception for that and a variance for that.
Okay. So we're getting on to a
Those
year.
have been in place.
For almost a year.
Those have been in place since January.
Just checking.
Thank you for the presentation. I guess we have public comment. Can you come up and do the signing and keep it official?
No problem. Editorial comment. Rick, I think your microphone's cutting in and out.
That's wrong.
I had two quick questions. I think frankly, you already answered both of them with something that you mentioned. So this is not going to be open to the public?
It will be open to the public. So one of the things that's envisioned is that perhaps school
Right.
trips will come here to introduce students to the construction industry and the history of the construction industry. It will not be a place where you can drive up and go to a ticket window like the Franklin Institute and
Right.
say, I'm here, let me in.
Okay, which I think probably answers the second one is, this is not an entree to open the walking trails back up again.
I'm sorry, it's not an entree.
To open up the walking trails,
I don't-
particularly during COVID, they have great walking trails around the property. Okay, so saw that, thought I'd ask. Okay, thanks.
Anybody else have any questions? Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Next time you see us will be when we have plans ready for you to sign. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, we need you to vote on
Up now.
it. Now or
This item is a presentation only. There is no action scheduled tonight.
we'll follow up with another agenda item to actually act on the waiver. Thank you very much.
So up next, we have a presentation, another waiver of land development for 2025-02 Captain Car Wash.
Hi. Thank you. Thanks.
Josh Castillo. I'm with Wilkinson Design Group. I'm a professional engineer who designed this plan that you're looking at here for a small project to expand the parking and some vacuum pumps for Captain Car Wash, which is just right down the road here, right past Germantown on the right. Um, the project is very modest. What we're trying to do here, it's simply installing 5 parking spots along the frontage, one of the frontages of the site along Park Ave. The site itself has 2 frontages. One is along Germantown and the other is on Park Ave. This is the frontage along Park Ave that we're looking at here. It's about 1,175 square feet of additional impervious surface. And like I said, the vacuum pumps, and that's really it. So it's expansion of an existing business that's operating the same exact way. We're here tonight to ask for a waiver of the land development process as well, not the substance within the saldo, but just going through the process. The applications, the fees and escrows associated with it are fairly substantial for such a small project. So it's really as simple as that. We'd be following all the other waivers. We're not asking all the other ordinances. We're not asking for any other waivers other than that process, and don't intend to. We do have to go through zoning to get a setback for parking from frontage. So without that, the project wouldn't move forward. But we're hoping to get that variance through that, going through the zoning hearing board as well. So really that's it. Unless you guys have any questions for me. I guess I will point out that we did submit this project under a grading permit application already, and it was kicked back to us, and we were told that we had to go through land development. I tried to find a way that I was trying to find what triggered the land development. There's really any type of improvements whatsoever to a commercial establishment can be deemed a land development project based on the literal verbiage of the PA Municipal Planning Code. It talks about basically any improvement for commercial could constitute land development. So there is really no threshold. Otherwise, we would try to maybe back down on something or change it to stay out of it. But it seems to me that as soon as you put any type of improvement, could be expansion parking, could be even just adding some pipe in ground or stormwater device or anything. So we don't think we have a choice other than to ask for the waiver. And that's all I have, unless you guys have any questions for me.
John, have you reviewed any of this, or
I have not done a formal review yet.
no? Okay.
So I did have one question, Lou, if I could ask. So you said you are going to need a zoning variance, so has that been applied for at this point or no?
No, we did not apply for it yet.
Okay, are you waiting on a decision on land development before doing that, or it's just logistics of?
We didn't necessarily talk about it that way. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I think that would be, we're gonna have to apply for it at some point. So as long as we get a favorable feeling about this, we'll probably start on that.
Okay. So typically, just historically, we take them on a case-by-case basis when it comes to that. We don't just sort of arbitrarily waive or not waive. We certainly rely a lot on the consultants to sort of, part of the dilemma in what you're describing is it does trigger, anything will trigger the MCP, which we start by honoring that and then have to work back from there. So
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
it's a tricky one. I mean, we can't just say yes or no in terms of that, but we certainly want to look very closely to see whether there's a path to do that or not. And there's no perfect answer to that other than us trying to work through it. And
Yeah, we appreciate it. And if there's anything else we can do to try to help that move forward, glad to facilitate that. Yeah, I guess the only other thing I want to point out, that when we did submit the grading permit application, we purposely also tried to stay under the threshold of 1,200 square feet of additional impervious surface so that we didn't have to do additional stormwater management.
right.
And that's something that we would also be willing to look at if that's something that helped push the decision through. if we came through the land development application, we still wouldn't have to do stormwater management if we kept it under 1,200 square feet, from what I understand anyway. And you know, we would be willing to do something in that regard if it would help to push the decision.
Right.
Wouldn't it be, are you putting the cart before the horse? In other words, wouldn't you go through zoning first to make sure you're gonna get your approval before you would ask for land development waiver?
I mean, I'm not aware of the sequence of if it matters or not, but if,
I mean, it's like, you would ask zoning first to see if it's even, they're gonna grant that, and then you go to land planning. I'm just, no?
I don't know. But they haven't yet. I mean,
I know
to your
that,
point,
I know that.
yeah.
I mean, you got a couple of things going on, so.
I mean, yeah, without it, we would obviously not be able to do the project either way, so,
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your presentation.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
You have any questions, Christine?
No, I don't. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, up next, we have a public comment, 5-minute per person limit. Any comment, public comment? All right, no public comment.
You do.
No.
You do?
You do.
Oh.
Jim Alec Worcester. You remember about a month ago, I was giving my public comment and somebody started whistling in the middle of my public comment. Remember that?
I don't.
You don't? Well, you were here for it. So I'm making you aware of it. You'll handle those kind of disruptive events. Is that what you're going to do?
Somebody in the audience was whispering or
Whistling.
whistling? I'm sorry.
Remember I had to get up and say, it's time to go. Somebody's whistling, Dixie. Maybe just
We're going to review the tape.
maybe just we're dozing off. Dan asked whether you could take a vote, or you were asked whether they could take a vote on the land development for Alan Myers, right? You said, can we take a vote? And you said no, right?
Correct.
Why is that?
It was listed as an informational item, and it was not listed as an action item or other business item.
Good point. So it wasn't on the agenda, right?
For action, yes, it wasn't on the agenda for action.
Right. So in order to take an action, it's got to be on the agenda. You'd agree with that, right?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay. This Captain Car Wash thing, is that the one right next to you over there?
Yep,
Do you know this guy?
I do.
Don't tell us.
Say again?
You don't tell us that this place is right next door to your place?
Okay, you've made everybody aware of it, that he's an adjacent property owner, yeah.
It's not my job to make people aware of people next to your place. It's your job to tell me that you got somebody next to you right there who's got something in front of you. Maybe, do you understand that?
Okay,
Okay. And you should know better than everybody else that land development's no fun. Remember what happened back in the days of John Harris?
I'm extremely,
What's that?
I remember quite well.
You remember because you were all ticked off because you had to go through land development and Lance Asher, who owned the car wash, didn't, right?
Well, let's review things. When that car wash was built, do you remember what year that was built?
I don't know when it was built,
1999.
right?
And then in 2009, he had a leasee, it was Mr. Wizard. And he did an addition to the back of the property. He added 30 feet of tunnel, added some more impervious coverage.
And my question is, did he have to go through land development to do it?
I don't recall that.
According to you, he didn't, and you did. I remember having this conversation clear as day. So, I would think you'd be sensitive to issues of land development and the expense that go along with it, because you had to pay a lot of money for your land development, right?
I did.
I know, because you told me that. Now, I need to ask a couple questions if I could. At the reorganization meeting, you guys put out RFPs for professional services. What RFPs got put out? For everybody, or for one, or for two, or how many?
I believe the request was for all professional services. Dan, could you refresh what you've done or what the update is?
Yes, we put out an RFP on Penn Bid for solicitor services only at this point.
Solicitor only.
Yes, sir.
And why is that?
There was individual conversations I held just to clarify those points. So
At the meeting, I heard Christine Steer say she had no problem with everything going to RFP since she's never had an opportunity to vet everybody.
correct, we did have individual conversations that in compliance with the Sunshine Law to clarify those points.
Well, your minutes don't clarify it.
Understood. RFPs don't require a vote, however, so it's,
You may not think they're required, but they took a vote to instruct you to put them out, right?
they took a vote with that as a,
Right. They took a vote instructing you to put the RFPs out, right?
they took a vote
Were
adopting the,
Were RFPs on the agenda?
no, RFPs were not on the agenda.
They got added to the agenda, right?
I don't know if they got added to agenda. I think it was an action item with that as a caveat.
Yeah, well, it's an action item because they said they're going to put out RFPs and expedite them, right? So the only one we've got out right now is for the solicitor. Is that it? Right?
Yes.
Thank you.
What we're going to talk about is transparency. I handed Christine some of her photos from when she was running for office. This first page, who's the guy on the far right?
It's Sean Kilkenny.
Who is it?
Sean Kilkenny.
Guy a lawyer?
He is a lawyer.
Does he have solicitorships? He's got
He has a-
solicitorships all over the township, or not this township, but townships everywhere, right? So is this request for RFP because you didn't get to vet everybody, or you want to put this guy as solicitor here?
I want to have the best possible solicitor for this township. Who that be, I don't know at this point. There's an RFP outside. I don't know if anybody's even responded to it.
Would you like to bet me that it's Sean Kilkenny? He's eventually going to be the guy?
I don't know.
But this second page, who's the guy on the far left
It's Sean Kilkenny.
with you, right?
Sure.
So he worked on your campaign.
He didn't work on my campaign.
He's got basically here with you on the campaign trail.
We went and knocked doors together.
Right.
That's
So he
not-
worked with you on your campaign. And did he give you any money?
He may have made a campaign donation.
Right. So,
It would be on my campaign finance, which you could get from the county.
I get it. We go from everybody is going to be put out for RFP because you didn't get to vet anybody. Like, that was the whole thing. That's why they did it. To now, it's just the solicitor has got the RFP. What about all these other people? Are they vetted now?
That was not my decision alone. There
I get
are
it.
3 of us here.
I'm just asking
I
you.
stand by what I said at the reorganization meeting. I would like to vet everyone. I would like RFPs on everyone.
Right.
I need 2 other gentlemen to vote that with me.
Right. Well, there's some confusion as to how that vote went. And Mr. Chairman, I've been doing this a long time. You violated the Sunshine Law twice. That's why I'm asking all these questions. There was never a motion to put these positions out for RFP. The agenda said it was a motion to approve their appointments. There was nothing in there about RFPs or expedited RFPs. But you decided, and if you'll check the tape, you'll see, you decided that that's the way you were going to go, right?
I stated that I had asked for RFPs back on October 13th when Dan sent out a memo, and he asked if any
Well,
amount. So I replied to Dan.
and Rick said,
Yeah, no.
and Rick said, two of the three supervisors didn't want to do the RFPs,
That's correct.
right?
Yep.
Okay. So now you got a situation where you're doing the RFPs, right? But it wasn't on the agenda. And according to section 712.1A, you can't do that. It's a violation of the Sunshine Law. Plus, you didn't claim any exemptions. You have to take a vote at the meeting to put it on the agenda, separate from your vote for the RFPs. Supreme Court just decided this whole thing, state Supreme Court. So that's violation number one. Violation number two is when you put yourself on for the, what is that, PSATS convention, whatever that thing is?
Voting member.
Yeah, voting member. Originally, the agenda said Rick DiLello, appoint Rick DiLello. But you decide in the middle of it all that you want yourself there. Can't do that either. You can't, if you're going to change the agenda, you got to take a vote for all three of you to change it with certain requirements to do so. Then it's got to be posted and it's got to be included in the minutes, and it's nowhere to be found in your minutes. That's violation number two. Now, if I file, which I have 2 more weeks, I can void or get voided all the actions you guys took for those two things. But there's a better way to do it. Better way to do it is to have your solicitor educate you on what you can and can't do with the right to know, with the Sunshine Law, and then revote the issues. That's called curing your violation. If you don't cure it, then I have to file, and I'm going to win. So maybe you need to look at these issues and get them figured out. Okay? Thanks.
Any other public comment? Bob?
You're welcome.
Everybody takes the pen.
The car wash snuck our pen.
Bob Andor in Worcester. If in fact you did violate the Sunshine Law, it would seem that somebody would be kind enough to notice that that same violation took place when they were nominated for the vacancy board, because that was not listed for them to be nominated, yet that took place. So just need to be consistent if he wants to, indicate when that was taking place. Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right, so we have our official actions for our consent agenda. Does any board member want to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to remove anything, but I'm happy to make a motion on the consent agenda, which is going to be a motion to approve the consent agenda, including the following items: the December 17th business meeting minutes and the January 5th reorganization meeting minutes, and the treasurer's report and other monthly reports for December 2025, and the bill payments for December 2025 in the amount of $1,157,518.06.
Thank you, Rick. You jumped the gun on me a little bit. I said,
I'm sorry.
Did any board member want to remove anything from the consent agenda?
I second the motion.
No, I got a motion second. Approved.
Now you could ask if there's public comment. So there's a motion and a second, and if
Any
there's
public
public
comment?
comment on the motion on the floor.
Public comment on the consent agenda.
Jim Malik again, Worcester. For the record, the minutes of the reorganization meeting from the 5th are inaccurate. they're grossly inaccurate. I would suggest you go look at the audio-visual recording you have. And that's about all I'm going to say, because if I have to file, I'm only going to hurt myself. So, thanks.
It's been motion and second. All approved? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We have a motion to approve the pay the estimate of number 3. It says final in the amount of $45,045.71 to Heidelberg. John, is there any update on, is the final payment, or is there,
Thank you, Board Chair. So we are requesting pay estimate number 3 for $45,045.71 to Heidelberg Materials Northeast. There is 1% retainage remaining in the amount of $9,794.87. That is to ensure that the punch list is completed, but the majority of the work is done.
you hold back the 1% you stated, and
Correct.
once you do the inspection, then you'll,
And then we'll issue the last payment of $9,000.
that'll be the final payment?
Yep.
All right, is there a motion to approve the payment of Heidelberg, $45,045.71?
I'm happy to make that motion, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to have a motion to approve the pay estimate number 3 final in the amount of $45,045.71 to Heidelberg Materials Northeast LLC for the 2025 road paving program.
I second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any public comment on Heidelberg? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. We have another motion to approve a 2026-02, 2026 fee schedule. Dan, is there any changes from last year to this year in the fee schedule?
There are exactly 4 differences between the fee schedule that we passed in the beginning of 2025. There were a few removed in our mid-year update for review. I will summarize all of the changes just so everyone's clear. Number 1, the business use and occupancy fee was moved from the building section to the zoning section. The fee is unchanged. It just better reflects the nature of the fee itself. Number 2, a zoning validity challenge fee has been relocated from a Board of Supervisors fee to a zoning section. It's just it's just a categorization correction. It just aligns the fee with the body that is generally hearing that type of matter. Number 3, the seasonal rental fee schedule has been batted back in the 2026 fee schedule with no changes to amounts or structure from the 2025 structure. These fees were, like I said, temporarily removed in a mid-2025 update after all of the field rentals had been paid for, to allow us to do some staff research on what those fees should be. However, we're not looking to update them now, and they will be identical to what they were at the beginning of 2025. Lastly, there's a small change to the sewer fees to reflect the changes that were passed in the 2026 budget. But other than that, other than the sewer fees, which were previously approved, there's no changes to the fee schedule from 2025.
So there are minor changes.
Correct.
All right, so is there a motion to approve the resolution 2026-02, 26 fee schedule?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to do that. Motion to approve, I would like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-02, which is the 2026 fee schedule.
I second that.
Motion and a second. Any public comment on a fee schedule? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Motion to approve a resolution 2026-06, appointment to appoint Bill McGrain as an alternate to the Land Planning Commission. Is there anything we have to know on this? Or
So Wendy, can you just confirm that this is the mechanism to add somebody to the Planning Commission as an alternate? As I recall, we have to do that via resolution as opposed to appointment. Is that?
That's my understanding. I haven't been asked to take a look at this quite by staff.
I can speak to that if it
Sure,
helps.
that's fine.
So initially, we did the research. This had been done in the past by resolution. We do have a resolution now. The goal is to clarify that by ordinance at the next meeting, that there's some ambiguity in our ordinance. It says that members can be added, but it doesn't explicitly say alternate members can be added. So just to avoid any ambiguity in the future, we'll just do a small ordinance amendment in February to just clarify it. But there's no reason we shouldn't feel comfortable moving forward with the resolution right now. It's, by the time all that happens, it'll.
So we're gonna table this, or we're gonna?
We've done it before by resolution. I don't believe it had been reviewed in the past by a solicitor. So the ambiguity, I think, in the ordinance is more a cleanup item than anything that should prevent you from moving on this tonight.
So I know that I was appointed as an alternate via this mechanism back in 2015, I believe it was, and I know we did it with Jennifer Taylor. I think it was 2021, possibly.
The goal is just to clean up the ordinance, just to be explicit.
I'm certainly comfortable
cleanup
making the
item.
motion. I'm certainly comfortable appointing Bill in this role. If you,
You gonna make a motion?
I'll make a motion. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-06 to appoint Bill McGrain as an alternate to the Planning Commission.
I second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any public comment on Bill McGrain? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Other business, we have a discussion on America's 250th birthday celebration. Is there a presentation? Are we gonna just discuss it?
Just a discussion. I had asked if we could put this on as an item. We obviously had the presentation back in October from the Perkiomen Valley regarding the 250th celebration. There's a couple things I thought we should discuss, whether we want to make a donation with regard to that as a board, and then just more generically, Dan has started giving some thoughts and ideas to what we can do with Worcester, and just wanted us all to get that sort of out in the public. So I don't know what your thoughts are in terms of a donation or just general comments on the 250 celebration.
Any ideas?
I'd like to be able to do something. I think Worcester, we have some, some cherished history here, and we have some historical sites that are relevant to the birthday celebration of our country. So, I think, but I'd like to hear your thoughts as well.
No, I guess 4th of July is, we're gonna celebrate, and again, I was around for 1976, and we did it in Valley Forge Park. There was it was a big deal back then, so, been a number of years, so I guess, are we gonna work on a?
Maybe you could tell us what you're doing, Dan, and we could.
Yeah, I mean, I have some minor projects in the shoot, for lack of a better term. I am working on there's I don't know if everybody knows, there's a big quilt over at the Historical Society building, and it was put together by Worcester residents back for the I believe the previous celebration that you just referenced back in the 70s. I'm in the process of taking like high resolution photos of those and generating like coloring book pages out of them. So on one side it would be kind of a coloring book page, the other side would be a picture of the original with a little blurb about what it is, what it means to Worcester, any information I'm able to find about. I have all the names of the people who did it. I don't have a ton of information about each individual person but certainly a call out to the person who originally did it at the very least. My goal is to bind those and then either make them some sort of giveaway or sell them for a low amount for potentially an open space donation. That's kind of up to, that's kind of up in the air. It's really up to, the feedback I get. But so that's kind of something that we're looking to do. We would obviously be able to do that at Community Day, which is scheduled in late summer, and kind of go from there. I will say, we did have a meeting at the Mako Consortium of Communities where a county representative came in to explain, talk about all the activities the county was going to put on, or so we thought. Most of the managers, including myself, were a little disappointed that it does not really appear that the county is doing anything. It looks like they're relying completely on the municipalities to kind of fill their calendar. So, we can fill it as much or as little as we want, I guess, to that extent.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be Fourth of July, so are we gonna have, like, some townships have fireworks and something at Hebron Park or something? I mean, do we have anything, and are we just gonna bounce around ideas and get it done pretty fast? Because you have to have something ahead of time, but.
I mean, I'm happy to listen to any feedback anybody has on what you may or may not want to do.
I get it, I get it. Is there any public comment, any ideas anybody wants to share? Come on down.
Sure.
My name is Cindy Smith. I grew up in Worcester on Fisher Road, and I remember in 1976 they had a parade, which was interesting. People dressed up in costumes, and it was a good way to get the community together. And I don't know, maybe you could put it out there to people, like if they had any ideas, somebody could dress up as George Washington. Yeah, I don't know, something like that. Thank you.
Tom DePaul, Shearer Road. At the Peter Wentz Farmstead, the guy that runs that, Jay or Jim, they put on historical events. And George Washington was supposed to stay there or been at the house at some point. That might be a good center point if we're going to do it as a township. And the if you've toured the house, the historical significance of it is pretty immense. And it's well documented there if you go inside and read it. That might be something, because they do run events every year and they dress up 1700s and they do a phenomenal job.
Good to know.
Thanks, Tom.
Winnie Hayes, Worcester. First of all, thank you for putting this on the agenda. I think it's a big issue. And just to share with you, 2 of your community organizations have joined the 250 planning efforts. And in our area, it's being coordinated. Those townships and municipalities in the greater Perkiomen area, which includes us, that's being coordinated by Lisa Minardi of Historic Trap. She's worked closely with Valley Forge Tourist, whatever they're called, Tourist Center, and she's been involved with the county. But I think your observations are correct. The county is not doing a lot in this area. And in fact, just to share with you, I appreciate his comments about Peter Wentz. It's kind of like a very special site in this township, because George Washington planned the Battle of Germantown there, and he retreated there when they lost and he had to leave. And obviously up the road, we have Valley Forge. But we have joined, Historical Society has joined that effort, and we've been active, and they need support, because we're going to have a lot of people coming to this area because of the historic nature of Philadelphia and what our region has to offer. And we've also got the World Cup, we've got the golf event, we've got the baseball event. We've got a lot going on, and we need to take advantage of that, and we need things to do. So we have a lot of ideas. And what we'd like to suggest is that you engage more formally township residents and community-based organizations that really want to help. And it should be more than just planning for July 4th. This whole year and next year, if you think about how the war evolved, it didn't stop at the end of 1776. It stretched on for, what was it, 8 or 9 years of battle. And certainly in this area, 1777, 1778 were big deals. So we would really like to see the township get involved and get behind this. And this group, this larger group, needs money. They need donation, because they need to be able to print material. They need to do things on social media. They need to get these handbills at locations, say on the turnpike rest stop and things like that, so people coming here know where to go. One of the things that FOW has talked about doing is taking a look at what exists in the way of our area of the county. What are the maps that show all the interlocking trails? And along those trails, what historic sites, not necessarily on the trail, but close proximity, and what are the major roads for that? So that might be something we do. The other thing I wanted to really toot the horn of is the Historical Society. It's an amazing place, and they have years and years of doing presentations for the community of historical nature. We really need to involve them. And we have two Conestoga wagons in this township, one with the Historical Society and the other one with Farmers Union. And that parade sounds fantastic as one item. So we'd like to really get involved and help. You know, we're not expecting the township staff to do everything. We really want to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? We have another discussion on the zoning hearing board, 2025-13 Primrose, 1501 North Wales Road. Dan, do you want to,
Sure, I can give you just a quick rundown on what it is. There is a application from Primrose, which is a Goddard School-like daycare organization, to put a daycare at the corner of North Wales Road and Township Line, in that C District corner, catty corner to Anna's Corner Store, if you're familiar with the old Wawa that's there.
an Axon, it was a Wawa, and it's Ava's,
Been a lot of things.
a lot of,
The variances that they're requesting, there's a number of them. That the maximum building size in that district is 6,500 square feet. They are proposing essentially double that. Number two, they're proposing two wall signs to be on there, two non-illuminated wall signs that are on either side of the building. They're allowed to have one. They want to have one facing North Wales Road. So if the building's a square on the corner, you can see it from North Wales Road. If you're stopped at that light, and the other one on the other side, you can see stopped on Township Line, to your left there if you're coming from the township into East Narton / Whippane. They're also asking for a freestanding internally illuminated sign of approximately a little more than 50 feet. By right, they're allowed a sign of 25 feet externally illuminated. The internal illumination is not permitted by our zoning ordinance, and obviously the sign size itself, they're asking to double that size.
and it's a mixed use, it's commercial and residential. Am I right on that too?
It's a commercial district.
Is it one parcel?
It's the district there. The parcel is a split zoned AGR agricultural and C commercial. They're proposing to build only on the C commercial section of it, so that in and of itself isn't the issue there. And to be clear, just to give you another little bit here, if you recall, a few months ago, they came in with a text amendment to allow for childcare in a C district. The board agreed that it was a reasonable use in the C district. However, the text amendment was insufficient. I went back and kind of rewrote it. We ran it through Planning Commission. It was fleshed out a little bit, but nowhere in the initial application for them to amend with their text amendment, nor in our amendment, was the issue ever brought up by Primrose of building size. So we did not change that, nor was there ever even a discussion on it. So that's kind of the background on this project.
Yeah, I do. So there's typically a couple ways we've handled these in the past, Mr. Chairman. So in one scenario, we let the zoning board do their piece and we sort of stay outside of it and let them do that. In other scenarios, we've requested that the solicitor send a communication to express if we have specific concerns regarding the application, or we authorize the solicitor go to represent the township in the matter if we feel that the matter warrants having the solicitor there in order to express that. So as an example, with the Palmer scenario, we obviously had authorized the solicitor to go to represent the specific interests of the township. So one scenario is let the zoning board do it, one scenario is to send a communication, the other would be to authorize the solicitor. That's typically how we've addressed those in the past. I have some concern that the size they're asking for is I mean, there's a couple things. I mean, one, they can ask for something, but they were here before us and certainly did not raise any issues regarding a need for size or some of the other variances when they came to sort of talk to us about uh, requesting that we put the childcare capability in the zoning, which we discussed over the summer. And certainly everybody thought that was a good idea when we voted for it in terms of that. And then obviously asking for a sign that's 2X what, it's more it's not that they're asking for the variance, it's sort of the size and scope of what they're asking does have some concerns from my perspective.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, Rick, about that. I also have concerns about kind of putting the thumb on the scale. They have a due process, to go before the zoning board and make their plea for relief as well. So I kind of have mixed feelings about it.
So do we send the attorney? Do they go on a regular basis, or do we recommend it, or?
That's the board's prerogative. You could,
Up to the board, and it's usually in um, cases that the board has a strong feeling about that my office has been authorized to attend a hearing. So it isn't an everyday occurrence. So it's really up to the board and what the board's wishes are with respect to the application. You can certainly, if you're authorizing my office to attend, then you would be sending a message that the township that the board is opposed to the application. Um, if you wish to remain neutral on the application and let the applicant present their case to the zoning hearing board, the zoning hearing board is its own body, and they have a burden of proof that they're required to satisfy. So if you remain neutral, then as Christine says, it allows the zoning hearing board to essentially do their job. But again, it's up to the board what your prerogative is here.
It's not on the agenda, we're not making a motion to vote it, but can we recommend it, or do we got to agree on it, or how does the legal end of this work?
So it's certainly, we have the capability to authorize the solicitor to send a communication. We can, if we have specific concerns, we would want to express to do that. We certainly could do that.
I have concerns based on a whole number of things. There seemed like you said thumb on the scale. Well, yeah, it seems like they're changing along as they go along. So my recommendation would be to send, but again, we're not making a motion, we're just making a recommendation. Or do we?
Well, if the board as a whole wishes to authorize my office to attend the hearing, then you would want to make a motion to.
It's not on the agenda, we can't do that.
Well, it's on as other business.
it is on as other business. You can take action on this if you decide to.
So I don't want to send the solicitor to it. I'm happy to send a communication to the zoning board expressing your concerns and the board's concerns collectively on the matter. I don't know that we need to send the solicitor specifically on this application, but I certainly am comfortable sending a communication from the solicitor expressing those concerns. That's sort of where I would stand on it. I mean, ultimately, if Christine thinks that we should send her, then it's 2-1 the other way.
I tend to agree with your approach, Rick, as far as, sending a communication, so at least there is, the board is expressing their, their position on it without having, like, Wendy there as a witness or some kind of making some formal presentation.
Just so they would follow our ordinances, so I guess we're gonna send a communication. Dan, I guess you can send that communication?
We can, it can come from either Dan or from the solicitor. I don't know who needs to send it. We just want to make sure that we're expressing the concerns of the board.
I can draft a communication for your individual review, if that's something you're comfortable with.
Are there specific conditions the board would want to request if the zoning hearing board saw fit to grant the relief? Is that something that is you're wishing to do?
So-
Or is it more that you're just simply wishing that a communication be sent that the board has concerns with regard to the application, but you'll trust the zoning hearing board to weigh the application as they are required to in accordance with the zoning ordinance and the MPC?
So I'm not personally looking to put conditions in the communication to what they should or shouldn't do, other than expressing our concern with what they're asking for in a more generalized fashion. Typically, our board historically has stayed away from most of these. I'm happy to sort of support sending the communication. I don't want to go much further than that based on my sort of historical precedent on that.
So I think
I can't speak for the other two.
I agree with what your proposal, Rick.
So I think if that, I don't want to jump ahead, but I think if that's where you're headed, I think it would be appropriate for Dan and I to work together to prepare communication to essentially.
Understood.
I think that's fine with me.
All right, moving on, we have a discussion on open space. We have a number of properties that the township owns.
I think you might just want to make a motion on that, though, if that's, that, if we're going to back up to Primrose, I think we should just make a motion on that.
I'm happy to make a motion that we authorize the township manager and the solicitor to put together a communication to the zoning hearing board reflecting the board's conversation regarding Primrose and some of the concerns that we have expressed regarding that application.
I second that.
There's a motion and a second. Any public comment on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we have C is a discussion on open space. The township owns a number of properties in the township, and I've asked Dan to put a list together, and we've done this in the past. And our uses, and if they could go to land planning, or if we want to have a discussion on different properties we own, and if we're going to expand Farmers Union Hall to the property next door. We bought the 40 acres on Fisher Road, 42 acres. A number of other properties, so we could come up with some idea to either put them to use, or again, just let them sit. Is there any comment, either motion, any ideas? Either board member?
So we've handed this task to the Planning Commission in a couple of cases. The Planning Commission has shared, and some residents have shared that process hasn't worked particularly well. Ultimately, the idea was to sort of categorize the properties as well as find it sort of had multiple uses, but certainly to your point, trying to get some sense of saying we have these properties, what can we do with some of them? Are there additional fields we might need? Are there additional opportunities to take advantage of those properties? We had in our, at least at a budgetary level, had talked about getting grant money so that we could have a more formalized open space plan put in place. Ultimately, we're in the early stages of sort of drafting the grant applications. Do you want to talk to that a little bit, Dan?
Sure, we've engaged a engineering, specialty engineering firm, Simone Collins out of Norristown, to assist the township in applying for grants from DCED to fund an update to the 2020 or the 2006 open space plan that we have now on the books. It's now 20 years old. Obviously, things have changed a little bit in the township since then. And my opinion from as staff is that this is something that we should be doing. We should be getting a professional consultant who has experience in putting these plans together to work in tandem with our planning commission and the general public and the board and staff to put together a full update to our open space plan. As like I said, it's 20 years old, and as everybody knows, we haven't changed as much as a lot of townships in the last 20 years, but there's certainly been some changes made, and I think it's a great time to get that done, potentially look at trails, how they connect through the township. There's 1,000 different things that I think that the expertise of a firm that does this, Simone Collins is the firm. They've done a number of these plans for many of our neighbors. They're very well regarded in this nature. And we could potentially, if we get that grant funding, use them, or we could then go out for proposals for other things. This is just for, what we're doing now is just to assist us in getting this grant funding. I think that's really the only way forward, in my opinion.
We did receive a grant for doing this?
No, we've applied.
Applied for the
They're
grant.
working on the applications. They're due by the beginning of March. So we will have something in front of you guys in February authorizing us to make that official application for that grant.
And any of the residents can always make comments to Dan as far as their ideas. I did have an additional one, and my idea was a couple of years ago is, and I'm big on having a band shell at Hebner Park, so my one idea was, and it didn't get any traction, but was to put an additional pavilion somewhere around 100 feet from the one with the bathrooms in Hebner Park, right near the parking lot. So when you go to these bands, a lot of older people go, and some have wheelchairs, walkers. It's for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and something in just an open pavilion. It would be an additional pavilion to that one. It would be away from the one with the bathroom, but they could set up the band, and the electric was right there anyway, so it's not even a big project. And again, that could go to land planning and have a different idea, but I mean, it's something simple. It could be multi-use. It's not just for a band, but an additional pavilion just for people to set up picnic tables or do whatever. But that was one of my suggestions. So Dan has had ideas of where I'd put it, but again, maybe you could bring that to land planning and see where it goes. Christine, any ideas on additional ideas?
I think that, I echo that there's a level of frustration that this, task was made several years ago and we're really no closer. But I think, I'm not necessarily opposed to bringing in someone or some kind of entity from the outside, but I think it's really important that our planning commission stay involved because they're our residents. That they live here. Anytime we bring a consultant from the outside, which is, a good thing to do sometimes, but we have to make sure that, our people, our residents have input as to what's gonna, and I mean, the planning commission spent a lot of time talking to stakeholders in the township. I mean, I went to a lot of those meetings. There were a lot of different folks that came in and gave testimony to the commission about what they'd like to see in the township. So I think, I don't want to lose, that's all valuable data and information that the planning commission has. So anything that we do needs to involve them, in my opinion.
Good. That's good. Rick, any more?
Sure. So when we bought Fisher Road, we actually went out for a grant at the time and unfortunately didn't get the grant at that particular time, which is then we turned the project over to the Planning Commission. And it just hasn't quite come together the way we would like. I would certainly want them to be active and engaged in any of it if ultimately we get some grant money where we can bring some professional resources that can help sort of work in conjunction with them. I think that would be a great idea. So,
Any other? We're up for public comment at this point. So any public comment? Come on, Bert. Welcome.
Bert Hines, Worcester, and full disclosure, I'm also the president of Friends of Worcester. I want to begin by applauding the three of you for putting this on the agenda and opening it up for some discussion. It's music to my ears. I like the idea when I hear that you are applying for grants to look at how to develop the open space we have for recreation or for whatever. There are no set ideas at this point, and that's good because it means you're open to new ideas. I've heard Lou talk about, for many years now, the idea of the band shell, and that's one idea. The 40 acres out on Fisher Road, beautiful piece of land, and we need to make sure we get it right. Years ago, quite a few now, I don't remember the exact number, but the township bought Hebner Park. and they engaged consultants, and they came up with a plan that resulted in the park that we now have. And people applaud that park. They talk about people from other areas come to Worcester because of the trails in Hebner Park and because of the fields in Hebner Park. And there are youth soccer teams that are there playing in the fall. The lights are on, the portable lights. But there's a lot of activity there. There's recreation. A lot of people are getting use out of it. If you think back to the times when COVID was looming and causing people to stay indoors, one of the things people did, they would go out and go for long walks, and they would use the trails. And Dan mentioned tonight the idea of connectivity of trails. I think that's something that we really need to look at. And I know the Planning Commission has been looking at how our open space has been used. I think it's just nice and refreshing that we are here having a discussion about it. We're not going to come to any conclusions tonight, but I'm happy to hear that this is moving forward, that it's in the forefront, and the willingness to engage the community and groups within the community so that you gather their input and we end up with an end product that is the best for everyone, not only in Worcester, but in the surrounding areas as well. So thank you. Keep at it. You may meet some opposition, but you also have a lot of support. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bert.
Any other public comment on that?
Kim David, Worcester. As you think about the open space, and I know all you are totally committed to keeping open space in Worcester, and it's important to you, but we never know what's going to happen in the future. And I just want to ask you to think about permanently preserving our open space. I mean, I know the township owns it, but it's not permanently preserved. And I think as we look at our open space, we can still do everything we want to do with it, but we should preserve it, for our future generations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Winnie Hayes. Thank you for having this discussion. So I echo the comments of Bert and Kim and others. Worcester is a special place. Center Point is the center of Montgomery County, and we have some fantastic viewscapes, open spaces, trails, and so forth. So we have a great opportunity. A number of years ago, in preparation for working on the comprehensive plan, you all did a survey of the township to find out what people prioritized. And the two top things on that list were open space and traffic control. People are worried about traffic. Maybe an idea, this is just an idea, is to repeat that survey while we look at using professionals, but to formally do a survey again and ask for people's ideas about our open spaces. And I'm not talking about Hebner, I'm really talking about the new open spaces and potential future open spaces. Now, reality is some of the open spaces we might get are to preserve habitat, to help with stormwater management, and for flora and fauna and viewscapes. But some of it's going to be for recreation for sure. So maybe that's what we could do. And again, your township community, people in the township would like to work with you. I mean, we have a lot of people in the township because of their background. They have experience doing surveys, formal surveys. So something to think about. And again, thank you for having this conversation.
Any additional comment? Sure. Come on down.
Tim Creelman, Worcester. I live in Stony Creek Farms. Would just like to comment on the 1501 North Wales Road. I know it's very early in the process, but myself and some neighbors saw this development, which is in close proximity to Stony Creek Farms. And one of the concerns we always have is, where is the sewage going? This property sits on a corner in North Wales, Township Pine Road. Right across the street is East Norton, who has a collection system. On the other side of the street is Whitpain, that has a collection system. In Stony Creek Farms, it was built with this self-contained sewage treatment plant that was built to service Stony Creek Farms only. There's a collection system within Stony Creek Farms. Somehow, developers think that that collection system in Stony Creek Farms is a public system. I haven't seen the plans, it's all in the process, but we've had similar instances, Whitehall Estates, where they planned all this out, and by default, the sewage goes to Stony Creek Farms. It turned into a big legal battle between the developers of Whitehall Estates and the board at Stony Creek Farms. And I think the fear is now with 1501, we haven't seen the plans, Dan hasn't seen the plans, I don't think, that when it comes down to sewer and on the paperwork they submitted, they checked off the box, it's public sewer. But I would hope the public sewer would be East Norton, or Whitpain, the public sewer they're talking of. I hope it's not going to go towards Stony Creek Farms. I'm not on the board. Some of my neighbors are concerned with this. There was a long battle with Whitehall Estates, and we don't want this development of 1501 North Wales to become the same type of situation where it's all engineered and they just assume they're going to be able to put sewage into Stony Creek Farms. So, I would ask Dan and the engineer early on in the process, when they submit the paperwork in their sewage, to ask the developer, where is the sewage going? And hopefully the answer will be, it's not going to Stony Creek Farms. There's a lot of covenants and restrictions of what can go in there. They just can't do it by default. So I would ask Dan, the engineer, to keep an eye on it, and right up front, ask them where the sewage is going.
Good question, and that would be a question for John, our engineer, but do you have any preliminary information on that?
So I'm looking at it now. This was before my time, but as you remember, there was a land development that was approved at that corner previously. It was commercial. I think it actually was an Alan Myers project at one point. They put in utilities, and I think there was a pump station that was put in at that time. If you give me a couple minutes, I'll relay that to you once. It was before my time, so I don't know. I don't want to give you bad information, but I don't think it's going to Stony Farms.
Yeah, we would like to know if it does. I know Dan has contacts with people there. I'd appreciate it if you could let us know if that seems to be where the sewage.
Sure, and if so, just so you're confident that that's going to get looked at. So hypothetically, say they get these variances. I don't know if they will or not, but if they get their variances, they'll have to submit for land development, and all those sewer plans and everything will be reviewed then through the land development process. So it'll certainly get looked at by lots of qualified people at that point, and be obviously made available to the public.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other public comment? Seeing none, motion to adjourn.
Thank you all for coming.